right. Diving in today, folks, we're looking at where AI and creativity really meet.
hmm
Specifically, tools like ChatGPT and, all this Ghibli style AI image stuff that's popping up in marketing.
Yeah,
Our sources for this deep dive, they're showing that this isn't just, a passing fad. This is actually changing how we tell stories as brands and connect with our customers.
absolutely.
So we're aiming to give you in this deep dive kind of like the shortcut
Right.
to understanding these trends and, the marketing potential without getting lost in the weeds. So what's really catching your eye right now?
Well, there are a couple of pretty big things happening.
Okay.
First, ChatGPT has just gotten so much more sophisticated. I mean, it's gone way past like just generating simple text.
Right.
It can really understand context now. It can even analyze images, help with scripting. It's almost like having a really smart creative partner to bounce ideas off
It's
of.
so interesting.
And then the other thing is like this wave of AI image generators. It's huge. And for some reason, that Studio Ghibli aesthetic is just on fire. Like
Right.
everybody wants a piece of it.
It is everywhere. Why do you think that is? I mean, what is it about that Ghibli look that's so captivating?
It's funny, the way it kind of like taps into this really deep part of us.
Yeah.
There's a sense of wonder, nostalgia, those kind of dreamy visuals, the colors.
The colors are amazing.
They are. And the way those characters, they express emotions so vividly, it's almost like it's speaking to something universal.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So let's get practical. You're a marketer. You're hearing this. How do you actually use this stuff?
Well, imagine this.
Okay.
You're using ChatGPT to, come up with different story angles for a campaign or to write that perfect social media caption.
Right.
And then boom, you pair that with these beautiful Ghibli-inspired visuals,
Right.
and you instantly have this emotional connection. It's about using AI for both the brains and the heart of your marketing.
I love that, the brains and the heart. And it seems like it would really speed things up,
Oh, yeah?
especially for smaller teams
Absolutely.
who don't necessarily have, huge agencies behind them.
Right. It's a real game changer for businesses of any size because now
Yeah.
we can create this like high-quality content
Yeah.
so much faster.
Yeah.
And it's not just about static images either. Think about ChatGPT for personalizing those customer interactions, like dynamic emails.
Right.
Or tailoring responses in a chatbot. That's how you scale that one-on-one feeling.
It makes so much sense. And speaking of standing out, that Ghibli style, anything like that visually, I mean, that's got to be gold for getting noticed online, right?
Yeah.
Especially these days.
Oh, totally. When you have that kind of unique, emotionally engaging aesthetic, content just takes off.
Right.
It's like way more likely to get shared, generate that buzz,
Yeah.
on Instagram, TikTok, all of that.
So we've talked about all this good stuff, but, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Always.
What are some things that we really need to be mindful of as we start, diving into these tools?
Yeah, for sure. One big one is, like, how much does AI-generated art actually resemble existing copyrighted stuff? While stylistic elements are generally okay, you get into trouble if you create something that's like a straight-up imitation.
Right.
Could lead to some sticky legal situations.
That makes sense. And what about keeping it real? How do brands use AI without just becoming, another like AI-generated content mill?
That's where your unique brand voice, your perspective, all that really comes in.
Right.
You rely too much on AI without injecting your own originality.
Yeah.
You just end up with this kind of bland, forgettable content.
Right. Right.
So I think the real sweet spot is going to be blending that AI efficiency with like that real human creative spark.
The human touch, right.
Exactly.
So if you're listening to this right now, what are the key takeaways?
Well, these AI tools, they're powerful.
Yeah.
Like really powerful new additions to the creative toolkit, especially for maybe smaller teams with limited resources.
Right.
They can really boost efficiency and create marketing that resonates on an emotional level.
But it's not about just handing over the reins.
Right. It's about seeing AI as this collaborator, something that enhances what we do as creatives,
Makes sense.
not replacing it.
Yeah.
So it's all about strategically blending your brand identity with these new capabilities. And that's how you forge those stronger emotional connections with your audience.
So as you're planning that next campaign, think about this.
Yeah.
How can you use these AI tools not just for speed, but to evoke very specific emotions and build a deeper relationship with your customers? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.